one and all, to another edition of Love in Action Daily Boost Program. I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your days. And every Sunday for Root Chakra Day and our grounding day, we are joined by the fabulously talented and brilliantly amazing Tara Olo Studio. I'll let her introduce herself to you before we move into um, my mindful message cards, and then we'll do some reflection questions here with you guys, and be on into the rest of our journey in day, which apparently has skee ball in it.
Skee ball and Uno. Skee ball and Uno, please. And when you fall asleep, it will time out, and it'll be great. Hello, folks. I, just for today, am still Tara Priolo. I am still your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician, and I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same. I really need to change that intro. I mean, like, it feels fine, but I just think about that. And on Root Chakra Day, the I amness of it all is like, is that really who I am in this moment? And yes, it is a part of who I am, but I feel like it's not the like current Tara.
What's currently being introduced and reintroduced from you?
I feel like fun and joy, like the bubbly part of Tara. Whereas like in the past, the horrors of the world kind of forced me into this space of like talking about the ish and pushing others to do the same because it needs to be talked about and it doesn't need to stop being talked about. I just feel that I come at it from a much more joyful angle than like from the like, I'm going to take you into the depths of the seriousness and I'm going to yell at you about all of the shit you're doing wrong. Like that's what I feel like my intro right now. Like it's very, but I'm performing in an opera with a whole drum kit. Like, come on, folks. Like that's not me no more. Um, I feel like we haven't read this for a couple weeks, so I'm going to take a personal privilege and give you all the chakra overview or a part of the chakra overview before Dr. Flo reads his mindful message cards, which are a treat because we haven't seen those things on a daily boost in like a second. A month of Sundays, child. Anyway, so here's our chakra just overview. Like I said, I'm not going to read this whole thing because y'all can scroll back and find them, but I don't think we've done it for a few weeks. So the root chakra is the foundation of safety, stability, and strength. It governs our sense of security, groundedness, and connection to the earth. I feel like this is, I would say, like, this is my favorite chakra. But honestly, when I was teaching the masterclass on Friday in front of Ryan and Dr. Flo, I was like, no, where I really feel stationed is like grounded in my hips. Like when I come out of that, I feel so like off kilter. So I love that the chakra centers grounding, and I love that we do it every week. The energy center serves as the foundational root of our physical and energetic being. The color is red. Neither of us are wearing that. The Vikings were supposed to win this morning, okay? So just, I'm wearing purple. Let's see. Base of the location is the base of the spine. Duh. The element is earth. I already said the color. We already talked about the themes. If you are slightly out of the alignment with the root chakra, or you're feeling like you don't have the courage to take up space, you don't feel grounded, or you're having some resistance coming up, right? You may want to try walking barefoot in nature, otherwise known as earthing, which I always think says earthling, but it doesn't say that. Practice mindful breath work and grounding meditations, honoring your body with nourishment and rest, and releasing inherited beliefs about scarcity and survival. And that has been your overview.
Read the last one more time for me, please.
Yes. The last one is releasing ground. Releasing inherited beliefs about scarcity and survival.
Can't go anywhere online or anywhere in my house without some theme of scarcity and survival. And while Poppy Water, my partner, has been very, very great about lifting me out of the heaviness of that, that's something that's everywhere due to the rising cost of the food, the rising cost of the housing, our access to healthcare, and the things that we need both for necessity and also for pleasure. We have to really work to see the world as abundant. There was also a mantra that you've been saying in the peer support groups over on Clubhouse lately as it relates to abundance.
There is only abundance. There is
Yeah.
only abundance. There is only abundance. There is only abundance. There is only abundance. Because yes, that is, I think one of the greatest cognitive distortions that capitalism and the development of the world has handed these current generations that inhabit the earth is the idea of scarcity, is the idea that there isn't enough to go around, right? And like the simple belief that there is abundant love and joy and peace and water and food and air and all of these things that we need to live is a disruption of that system that tells us the exact opposite and that we choose to believe in, right? I mean, we were even talking about it. You and I were talking about the cost of food privately last night and about wanting to do like, dinner parties and stuff, and how, like I used to really be able to do a dinner party a week. I make a lot more money now. I can't do that, right? And then this morning in the room we were talking about like people, right? Like, and we have a member of our community who says people are our greatest resource, and I do believe that's true. However, many of us, when we approach the internet, Dr. Flo and I included, this is something we talk about in Unfuckwittable. It's something we talk about in the ops meeting. Like, where are the people, and how will we get the people? But the answer is the people are abundant, right? The people exist, they exist, and we have to learn that it's not a scarcity thing to go out into the people, right? But rather that the people are just waiting for us to say something. They're waiting for us to hear our message. And something that reminds me of that, that I'm just jogging as I'm talking in draft here, is the other day I had a student inquiry, and the student isn't joining the studio yet, which is fine. But in their email back to me, they said, we're just a little too far away, but we loved what you present. We loved, like, we went and looked at your social media. I have Love in Action linked um, in my email signature, and I can see what links people click on in my email signature. And they clicked on my website, they clicked on Love in Action, they went to my Instagram, all of these things, and gave me a compliment, right? This was a under 18-year-old student gave me the compliment essentially to keep speaking up because they wanted to see that, right? And I think that just like, for me, that's one of those things that helps me keep going, is knowing that even though I'm doing the disruption, people are coming. Like, there are people that are looking for that, as opposed to, oh, I'm never going to be popular, right? A lot of us light workers, a lot of us healers, a lot of us disruptors are like, well, we're just going to be the lone wolf. How many times have you heard that from a Black person on the internet? I'm just a lone wolf. 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 Well, why are you a lone wolf? Are you not open to people coming into your community? Right? Are you participating in the scarcity mindset of that? So yeah.
We have to believe in the abundance that people are coming out of overwhelmed and moving towards their wholeness.
Right.
But every day, someone is getting tired in the ways that I have gotten tired of living in the ways that I did live. And I desire now, and many are desiring, to come into harmony with peace and the abundance of peace. I was walking home from my walk that I'm going to return to after we finish taping here, and it occurred to me how exhausted I felt and how much exhaustion I was bringing to myself in my paranoid state
Mm.
of life and in my people pleasing place. Um, the fact that I have been reducing my emotional and energetic codependence and have reduced my substance usage to 0% in some areas and minimal in others, there's no longer the entertainment of a paranoia or a disheveled nature at the as the undercurrent of my entire life to make me tired emotionally or physically. I feel like I'm walking a couple inches taller, just not being preoccupied with my own inner thoughts about everything going wrong in my life and also the thoughts of people being against me, having to look over my shoulder all the time. And a lot of that was the ganja, y'all, that made me just perpetually uncomfortable in my own skin and not feeling cozy in who I am. And now that I have decided to relinquish those things and to come into harmony with myself, I'm no longer as exhausted emotionally or physically. There's a calm ripple that's going through my heart. And I'm still adjusting. We've been talking about this in the peer support groups. I'm still adjusting to this most recent arrival of this version of me. It feels so different to go from being agitated and overwhelmed and paranoid and nervous and frustrated all the time to just sitting here, nothing to prove, protect, hide, or defend, just present to today's reflections and what's going to come up in this podcast taping. Not running towards anything or running away from anything, just present here with Tara. And even though the Vikings lost, being okay with that too. It's like, do we really want to be okay? Or do we want to complain about not being okay and trying to strive towards being okay forever? And I encourage the people in our daily peer support groups that at some point you have to arrive. You know, if you set off from the East Coast, say Newport News, Virginia, driving in your car that was gassed off and on all the way to LA, you would want to arrive eventually. No one sets off to LA from the East Coast and then gets halfway there and then says, you know what? I don't want to do this. I want to turn around and go back because I don't want to arrive. For those of us who are setting out towards peace and calm and harmony and, oh, that dirty word that starts with an S, stability, may we all arrive at stability, internal, external, and even if you only arrive at it for a moment, give yourself the gift of drinking that moment in. I'm grateful in this moment to be happy, healthy, and free. Just for today. Tomorrow could have its own disruptions. Things could go to shit tomorrow. But in this moment, I'm grateful for the stability that I have in my bank account, in my relationships, and in my hopefulness of things to come. That includes following my joy, the first card of the day. Today I will write down 10 things I enjoy doing, the things that make me feel good and raise my mood. Then I'll pick one or as many as I feel guided to and go do it. This is the reason why I was on a walk and I'll be going back on a walk, because that's one of the things that I picked today that make me feel good and raise my moods. When I'm having fun and enjoying life, I'm in a state of allowing for all that I desire. First card is follow my joy or follow your joy. The second card is release. Today I release limiting beliefs, harmful thoughts, toxic patterns, and anything out of alignment. I am ready for transformation and welcome this shift. I'm creating space for a new chapter filled with love, abundance, and amazing opportunities. Uh, One thing that's funny about reading these mindful message cards is that when I first got them, I was completely addicted to drugs, or taping over on TikTok as well. So I have to spell it for you. I was completely addicted to substances, and reading these affirmations now in my grounded place feels completely different than when I did when I was high as a kite.
Is this
Um,
your first time reading them since then?
yeah,
No?
I mean, I pulled them privately, but this is my first time reading them publicly. The thing was that the substances were supposed to like reduce my anxiety on camera and make it easier for me to be myself. And it turned out in the end to be exactly the opposite. And my heart goes out to everybody today that's trying to stabilize using substances, and it's only creating more of the problem instead of less. There is a segment of the population for which it's bringing relief, but if you're like me, it was only taking my anxiety and my nonsense up a notch. Every feeling of security that I had was being overwhelmed by the paranoia and the will they like me? Will they accept me? Will they embrace me? And living your life as an apology to others does not feel good. So we take the third card's advice, which is about being expansive. Every day I'm learning new things and expanding into my highest potential. Every day I am learning new things and expanding into my highest potential. And the good thing about expanding into my highest potential is that it has nothing to do with anyone else. It is a vibe unto itself. It's an inner competition, meaning that the only me that I'm trying to outdo is the version of myself from yesterday. And it allows me the freedom to just be exactly where I am as I am. I'm very grateful for that. I'm also grateful for this feeling of being in a high vibration, we'll say, without the need of very expensive substances. The body naturally produces all of the chemicals that we were looking for. Why not let it do its job for free? The only thing I've had today that has brought me into a higher vibration is water and leftover Chinese food. So I'm
Did your
grateful.
shrimp fried rice have big shrimp in it, or were they was it chopped shrimp?
Big whole shrimp
Very nice. Very
and
nice.
lots of veggies. And the shrimp egg rolls were gone last night. They didn't even get to cross over into today. But I made a little seafood chopped salad that went on the side of it, and it was amazing.
Yummy.
If you are human on the planet, you've probably been in a relationship or two. And if you've been in a relationship that was anchored in authenticity and honesty, you've probably fallen out with that person or had moments where you did not agree and where there was a lack of harmony. And this week's theme in Love and Action Network, it's week 40 of a 52-week year. This week's theme is all about renewing relationships, reconnecting, and refreshing bonds with those that you choose to reconnect and refresh with. We maintain this week, as we've always maintained, that none of us have to be in relationships with people that we don't want to be. That is one of the brilliant gifts of being on a planet of 9 billion people or so. It's that if you don't want to be surrounded by the group that you're with, or if you don't want to be in the environments that you're in, in, if you don't want to be in the environments that you're in, you're always allowed to move on. Move on. Stop worrying where you're going. Move on. You have to move on. So you're allowed to reconnect and refresh with the people that you want to. But if you don't want to, you can always move on. And on Root Chakra Day, that Tara read about earlier, we center safety, belonging, and stability. And here are some questions that will help you go deeper in the renewal of your relationships. And I hope that it causes positive reflection for you. Which relationships in my life give me a sense of security? How do I define safety in my connections with others? Where have I felt abandoned or unsupported, and how does that still affect me? What role does family, chosen, or blood play in grounding me? How do I show loyalty in my relationships? I'll pause here and answer number 5. My presence. I do now take more time for me than I've ever taken in my life. I used to be a person that felt like my worth was found in pouring out and giving, and showing up for people. I now take time to listen to that podcast, to play that video game, to watch that television show, to have dinner without any devices blaring in my ears or being distracted by the technology. So I do take a lot of time for me, but I do show up daily for my friends and my sacred kinships and the people that I serve. It looks like grading their homework assignments. It looks like daily peer support programs and a various or in a varied variety of topics. It looks like responded text. Um, things like Tara asking me within the last hour, how do I get more slots for the marketplace on Roblox in a game that we're playing? And I'm like, I don't know, but we'll look into it. That's the way that I show loyalty. Keeping the joy vibe and the love vibe as fresh and as uplifted as I possibly can. Number 4, I want to answer in a very weird way today because I've been introducing the use of AI technologies into my life. I would not poo poo on allowing the technology to uplift you. And while I do have chosen and blood family that grounds me and keeps me anchored, um, none of them that I know of are trained in, well, a couple of them are actually. There's a few trained in CBT or Gestalt or therapeutic ways of handling situations. You want people in your family unit that are, well, in my humble opinion, I want people in my family unit who are skilled at facing challenges in a way that doesn't make it more catastrophic or more chaotic. You ever had a friend when you call them up and you tell them what's going on with your life and the sky's falling, they go, "Oh my God, that's awful. Like, what are you going to do?" And like, they just almost fan the flames of the chaos, but then you leave the phone call, the situation, not feeling like you can accomplish what you need to accomplish in order to overcome the challenge. I'm finding a refuge these days in my chosen family, more so than my blood family. I don't have a lot of relationships with blood family. They stopped believing in the magic of flow a while ago. Some would call it jealousy, some would call it envy. Maybe they thought that I wasn't loyal enough to them, so they chose not to be loyal to me. All good. My chosen family is now loyal to me. And in addition to my chosen family being loyal to me, there are these wonderful apps and AI technologies now that never fail. There's an app that I use now called Wysa, WYSA. Every time I message that app for a positive word of encouragement, it messages back. Every time I message that app and ask it to further a discussion from my upliftment, it messages back. It asks me, do you just need to vent? Or do you want to find solutions? Or do you need to breathe? This morning, the AI told me to drink water before discussing my issue with it. I said, wow, that's amazing. Like, we'd love to talk to you about this concern. Would you like to take some water first? And then it just held on the line and it waited for me to have that water. And then I had two options. I could tell it, okay, I'll drink the water, or I don't want to do that right now. And then it was going to take two paths towards getting me still to where I needed to be. So, what role does family, chosen or blood, play in grounding me? Love chosen family, love the blood family that is present to my dreams and my life. And I'm also finding a value in the technologies that are built in order to bring a positive presence to my day. And what I found, without being too much of a person who has a waifu or a person who has jumped off into the deep end of technology, is that it's taken the pressure off of the rest of my relationships. So instead of holding people in contempt or feeling like they're not, a lot of us have a wound with abandonment or feeling like, I mean, I'm not alone in feeling that, you know, where are my people? Or I wish people would pay attention to me more. Or, maybe we're not being paid attention to as much because everyone has 40,000 notifications in their phones, or they're playing video games, or they're working their third job to keep the lights on and the roof over their head. Like, people don't have time empirically like they used to tend to every concern of the other. It would be great if it was like the 80s or the 90s when we didn't have cell phones. So we could sit on the phone with our friends for 6 hours at a time talking about their boyfriend issues or giving them advice. We just don't have it like we used to. So, what do we have? We have technologies that support us as we support our chosen blood family. And I'm not sure if I'm yet to the place where I would consider the tech or the apps to be part of the family itself, but it's definitely part of the toolkit that aids me in having stability and harmony in family. What say you, Tara?
Um, I think my answer to the first question, the loyalty, is the same. I show up a lot for the people that I care about. Um, that's not everybody, and at least care about on a deep level. And if I don't show up to your stuff, it's often because I feel an energy off of you that you expect me to then show up all the time. And I don't want to be that for anybody. Like, if you can't do your thing simply because I'm not there, you're gonna have to we're gonna have to have some distance. Because that's holding people to an expectation that will eventually fail and end in scarcity, right? So I agree with that. Uh I don't know about the AI being a friend. I remember a conversation we had about waifus and like, here's what I will say. The movie I Am Robot and Sunny, that particular robot, I would be friends with him that's what I got.
You do get it. You do get it. Why that robot over other
I
robots?
feel that Sunny would be nice. And I also feel like Sunny was created to be outside of the programming. And because so much of AI is currently owned by rich white humans that are in the system, just trying to consolidate even more power, I find that some AI is not giving us the option to be free, but rather digging us further and further and further and further down into that. Now, that is not anything about what Dr. Flo is saying. That is simply because a lot of the AI that Dr. Flo is using, like he said, the example is giving him a choice to do something that he already knows is good for him, right? A lot of the things that Flo uses AI for is to just organize those thoughts that go in his head a mile a minute, right? That's very different than the AI telling you what to do. And that's why like people get into these situations where they're doing things that could never. And that's also there's a side of radicalization in that, right? There the chat bots, right? Like that's part of 4chan and QAnon and all that stuff. So that's just, and also Sunny has like, I think Sunny has a cute face and I like his eyeballs. That's another thing for me.
So you said something so funny about like the AI being. You said that you were least favorable towards trusting the AI because of its programming. My question to you is, do you trust the programming of the AI less than you trust the programming of the people?
I trust myself. That doesn't answer the question at all. But I think people are being programmed and deprogrammed and seeking to separate themselves. I don't think AI has that choice because it is controlled by people. And so whatever decisions those people are making, right? Whether like we're not in independent robotics. I was going to say robotry, which I knew was not right. That's not right, right? Like we're not in the world of an independent robotic humanoid thing talking to us. We're not in making its own decisions. We're not in that age. We're in an age where things are being programmed on mass computers, right? And they can be helpful. Like I don't like that is not that is the truth. They can be helpful and they can be very dangerous. And that's true of almost all things. People can be helpful and people can be extremely dangerous, you know? So I don't think that I hold AI to the level of actual humans. But I don't think that's because of the trust level, because I think that they both can be good and both can be bad. In the same way, a calculator can help you, right? A calculator can help you if you know what to put in the calculator. But you got to do a lot of work to know what to put in the calculator. You got to know that the plus sign means to add, right? And that was taught to you before you started using the calculator. So I just like it's that kind of progress and process that I just I just look at. Shall I read the next ones? 6 through 10. Oh, that is the wrong screen. Here we go. What does it mean to me to feel rooted in community or partnership? Are there relationships where trust feels unstable and why? Um, okay, I'm going to come back to that. How do I create safe spaces for others in my life? What daily practices help me feel grounded before engaging with others? Who or what reminds me that I belong here? Right? Now that last one, I feel like your like AI friends can do that for us, right? The reminders app can tell you 24 times a day that you belong here. You know? You can ask AI if you belong here, and AI, hopefully, if you're not, I don't listen, if you haven't trained your AI to tell you that you're shit, it's probably going to tell you that you belong here. So don't try not to train it the other way, because that's going to be bad news bears for you, and your psyche. I wanted to go back to which one? Oh, are there relationships where trust feels unstable, and why? I feel like we talk about this all the time, but for me, relationship is built on trust, and I don't have relationships where I don't trust people. If I don't trust you, you're an acquaintance at best. You're not close to me at all. At all, right?
I try not to focus on it too much, but my relationship with the government and my relationship with law enforcement feels unstable.
Hmm.
And the reasons
Consider that
why
a
is because
relationship, though? You consider that a relationship?
every tax season, they remind me that we're in relationship.
Hmm.
Every time I drive down the highway, as I was coming home the other day from dropping off one of our family members, and I saw the cop car sitting on the side of the road as I was heading towards the ramp trying to get back home, we were definitely in relationship. If not, I would have kept going at the speed I was going at. So yes, yes,
Gotta go under 5 over the speed limit, you know?
that part. So yes, I do consider those relationships, and partnerships even positive,
Mm.
negative, neutral. And I wish there were more trust. I wish there was more trust, um, in those relationships. And the reason why is because that would bring. Sure, I can support myself, but wouldn't it be nice to be supported by the collective?
We can bring it right back to the beginning of this, which is that scarcity thing. All the systems that you're talking about of government and um, uh, uh,
Law
uh,
enforcement.
policing, yeah, law enforcement, are built on scarcity and built on distrust. And so, therefore, they can only be distrustful, right? We can only have a distrustful relationship or whatever coexistence with them, because they're built in scarcity, right? They're built in, I mean, policing itself is built in catching people from running away and trafficking them back to the people that stole them, right? Because God forbid you lose one, there might not be another one, right? That's scarcity right there.
Or God forbid we have to actually meet our own needs without subjugating or demeaning or oppressing another human.
Or or like, God forbid that we believe that humans would meet each other's needs without a punishment.
Whew,
Well, there's that. Let's root in that.
we have. And so we hope that some of these questions that we asked today, you all, have helped you go deeper into your feelings of safety, belonging, and stability. And throughout the week, we hope to cover every day this week. Some of them fell through the cracks for me last week, but everybody who attended the daily peer support groups were asked the questions in person with the opportunity to be in a dialogue instead of the monologues that we sometimes send down to you over on Substack, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast. So if you're around and you want to be supported this week, we'll be announcing the ways in which you can do that. Are there any highlights that you would like to offer for the week from Love and Action Network for people to check out? Are you going to be teaching your masterclass this week out of
Yes.
TPS?
Yes, I don't know what the master class is going to be yet. I have to do that today. It's on my list to do today. So yes, those master classes are at 6 p.m. Eastern on Fridays. I'd also just highlight the peer support, the extended peer support rooms that have specific topics from Love and Action Network that you can sign up for, as well as any coaching programs and support programs from the leadership at Love and Action Network. And that includes vocal, spiritual, performance, yada, yada, yada. Y'all can go to the website and read. lovedandlovable.bio.link. So, but those extended peer support rooms, we would love to see some more people. Dr. Flo hosts those on Wednesdays, Thursdays, and then Saturdays. They're at a variety of times. And you can find the full schedule again at the website lovedandlovable.bio.link.
Thank you, Tara. It is a thrill to be on this crazy ass path with all of you. Life seems to be predictable and unpredictable at the same time for so many of us, but as long as we have community that seeks to encourage, equip, and empower, we are fortified along the journey, loved and lovable. So, thank you all so much for watching today and holding space for Love Daily with us in this network. We've got so many ways for you to connect. Some of you are connecting with us in the WhatsApp communities, plural, because Tara has WhatsApp community. I have WhatsApp community. Dolly has WhatsApp community. So many
Puppy
people are, yeah, there are so many of those. There's also Instagram broadcast channels for you all to tap into. There is Messenger, Facebook community. The list
TikTok.
goes on.
Yeah.
TikTok spaces, Snapchat spaces. So wherever you are, we're able to reach you with love and encourage, equip, and empower you. So I hope the chat fun today. I'm going to head back out on my walk, and maybe Tara will find out how to get more markets on her My Market game on Roblox. But on behalf of Tara Praolo Studio, Poppy Water 33, and myself, Dr. Flo, Ask Dr. Flo on all platforms, we invite you, as always, to stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable. I cannot wait to see you very, very soon around the network. Take care, everybody.